What's up, guys? So in this video we are going to be hacking a Linux box. Now this is very beginner level friendly video. Okay, so the purpose of this video is just to teach people the process on how to tackle any system. Okay, so we are going to be hacking a system known as Kioptrix. Now, why Kioptrix? Well, we are on VonHub here. I talked about VonHub in my previous video, and there are like so many boxes like we could attack. Okay, but maybe for the purpose of you guys, maybe some of you who might be interested in OSCP, the OSCP certification, and if you come here, if I come to another tab and just type OSCP like boxes, okay. Now there is this Abachi. I think Abachi did a very nice list. Yeah, that's it. He did a very nice list of maybe if you are preparing for the OSCP, some boxes you might want to tackle. Now these are like similar boxes to what you might find in the OSCP exam. Of course, there are so many of them. We don't have to actually use the Kioptrix level 1, but I just feel like, okay, let's just tackle this. So this Kioptrix level 1, it's on VonHub. You could also search for it here as well, or you could just follow the link here. So if I follow the link here, it brings me to the Kioptrix level 1 page. Now you can go ahead to download it, download the raw file, extract it, or if you have any torrent client, you could also download the torrent file here. So as you can see, it says this Kioptrix VM image are easy challenges. The object of the game is to acquire root access via any means possible. Okay, so the purpose of these games are to learn the basic tools and techniques in vulnerability assessment and exploitation. There are more ways than one to successfully complete the challenges. So if I scroll down here, it gives us a bit more information about the file. Then also, these are some of the walkthroughs. So these are from people who have solved the box, who have been able to gain access to the box, and they put their walkthroughs. So if you also gain access, you can also come here and put your walkthroughs, walkthrough on, so to help other people as well. Okay, so if you haven't downloaded this, you should download this, and maybe you can pause the video, and when you've downloaded it, then you can unpause. So I have downloaded the Kioptrix level 1, and I've attached it to my VMware workstation. So before we begin, there are just a few settings which we'll need to change on this Kioptrix level 1. So I come here now to edit virtual machine settings, and then I'm just going to change the network settings. I'm going to change it from bridge to NAT. So also a lot of boxes you might download from VonHub, it might also be a good idea to also use host only. All right, but there's a reason why I'm using NAT for this particular box. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK, and it changes that. Then I'll now go to the folder where I downloaded it from. Now there's the folder here, and I'm just going to make another change as well. So I'm going to right click the configuration file here, the .vmx file here. Okay, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to say open with, and I'm going to open with Notepad. All right, then there are just a few things I'm going to change here. Now as you can see here, it's saying bridged. Now I'm just going to change it to NAT, which is NAT here. So this network name here, instead of bridged, I'm just going to change it to NAT. Okay, then I'm going to save that. Then I'm ready to run the machine. So I just come here and power on the virtual machine. So this will take a while. Just click I copy this, and this will just take a while. Okay, so after starting up the machine, this is just what we are presented with. It's just saying Kioptrix login, nothing. Okay, so now we are supposed to get root access to this particular machine. We don't have root access, so now the aim of this is to get root access to the machine. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to my Kali here. Then I'm going to try to, access the Kioptrix machine. So the first thing I'm going to do, because we don't have any information about this Kioptrix, we only have, we're only saying good luck and have fun and the login prompt here. So, and we put it on NAT, and our Kali machine is also on NAT, so we are on the same network, so they should see each other. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to open the terminal here on my Kali, and I'm just going to run net discover. Okay, command not found. Let me use the sudo command net discover, and I'm going to put a password here. So what this net discover does is going to scan your network and find other devices that are in your network. Now only so far it's only this Kioptrix that is here, so I should expect to see the Kioptrix machine here. Okay, so our net discover has run, and we are presented a list of IP addresses. Now I know definitely it's not .1, .2 or .254, so this is definitely the IP address of our Kioptrix machine, 192.168.125.130. So I'm going to open a new tab here, and the very first step, if you guys watched my previous video, I talked about scanning. Scanning is very important, and we are going to use nmap to scan. Okay, so I'm going to say nmap dash a, which is to scan. I want to scan everything. Okay, then I'm going to say dash t4. Then I'm going to say dash p dash, because I want to scan all the ports. Okay, and I want a verbose output. Okay, so the IP address is 192.168.125.130. 192.168.125.130. Okay, when I'm done, I'll just press enter. So this is going to scan everything, and as you can see, it has already found a few open ports. Now I'm seeing port 80 is open, 443, 139, 111, 22, 1024. Okay, so it's just going to it's done the port scan. Now it's doing the service scan, so I'm just going to wait for a while for the scan to be complete. Okay, so our scan is complete, and it gave us quite a bit of information here. Okay, now if I scroll up here, we are seeing the ports that are open and the services that are running on the ports along with their versions. Now this box is a very vulnerable box. There are so many ways to get in. Okay, but because this is a beginner level friendly video, I'm just going to show you the fastest way to get into any box that is vulnerable like this. Okay, so first of all, you look at the service that is running, you look at the version as well, and use our dear friend Google to check if there is any vulnerability for that particular version. So you see, one of the reasons why it's good to always update your system, because there just might be a vulnerability for it. Okay, so for instance, now we are seeing like this. Now if we come here now to port 80, we are seeing it's running the web server Apache, and we are seeing the version it's using mod SSL 2.8.4. Now the fastest way is just to come here and copy this. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are just going to copy this here, then open a browser. Okay, then just paste it here, mod SSL 2.4, then just type exploits. So hopefully there's an exploit for us, and as you can see, there's an exploit. There's a lot of work that has been written on this. Okay, now if I click the very first result, which is exploit DB, it explains what it is. So it says it's open, it uses some profane word and remote buffer overflow. So what this does is that it gives you remote access to the system. It's a C file, it's written in C. Okay, and this is what we need. But if you want to get the most recent version, I would advise to go to the GitHub page. So let me first go back, and the GitHub page, we can see it was changed here, open lock. instead of the the other word. So I'm just going to open this in a new tab. Okay, now said open lock, original is open, I change for something more elegant. And this just explains how to use the particular exploits. Now this one is not outdated. The one we checked on the exploit DB database is outdated. So you just follow the instructions. That's all. Okay, that's just all. So it says download, open, and you put this in the terminal. Okay, after you've done this, you put this in the terminal. You also put this in the terminal as well. You compile it, and once you are compiling, once you are done compiling it, you now run the solution. Okay, now I have done this already on my system. I've cloned it, installed this, compiled it, and then the next step is just to run it. So I would advise you, if you want to exploit the box, just follow the steps and meet me here. Okay, so I assume you've downloaded and compiled the application. So the next step now is to run the application against the Kioptrix machine. Okay, so if I were to go here, the instructions, it says you just use this is what you should do. Just say see which service you wish to exploit. For example, if you need to Red Hat Linux, use using Apache version 1.3.20, which is our Kioptrix version. Trying out using this option, would help. So just follow through. Okay. So I go back to my box. Then I'm going to say this. I'm going to say open. Then the word. Okay. And remember, like what I said in my previous videos, if you are not sure of anything, just put -- help. Okay, so it gives me a list of what we need. All right, now if I were to go back to our scan results, now let's go back to our scan results. Now we are seeing that we've seen this is the version of Red Hat Linux Apache 1.3.20. Okay, now if I come back here, we should be somewhere around 1.3.20. okay, it should be somewhere around here. So there are two variants. There is 0 times 0x6a, 0x6b. okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to use the 0x6a option and see if it works. So we're going to say open whatever 0x6a. okay, and then I'm going to put the IP address, which is the IP address here that we scanned. So I'm going to copy this, then I'm going to paste. Okay, and if we follow the instruction, you can say against the ports. Okay, we run it with the IP address, against the IP address and the ports, and -C40. okay, we could use C50, anyone. It doesn't really, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that much though. So I'm going to say port 443 because we also have it running on port 443 over here. Okay, I'm going to say port 443 and I'm going to say -C. I'm going to say, let me just say 50. Okay, so once I'm done, I press enter. So it's going to try to connect and I'm just going to wait. And it didn't give me a shell. So then I'm going to try the other option. I checked here and there's 606A and 6B. So I'm going to try the 6B option and see if it gets me to work. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to put 6B. Okay, I'm going to try again. And we have a connection. All right, we have a connection to the system. So it was just that easy. I just followed the instruction and I have a connection to the system. So if I just type who am I, and we are seeing we are roots, we are the highest level user in the Kioptrix machine. So I could say, okay, where am I? Print working directory. I'm in the temp folder. Let me dial back a bit. And pwd. I'm in the root folder. Okay, I could list everything out. I could cd to roots. Okay, I could list what's in the root folder. So as you can see now, I could where am I? Print working directory. I'm in the root folder. So I have successfully owned this box by just checking the exploits, going to Google and checking the exploits. Okay, now like I said, this is just a very simple, beginner friendly, video. So obviously a lot of it's not going to be that easy, but I just want to introduce you guys to the concept and how Google can also help to be your best friend. So if you just scan something and you are not sure, okay, where do I go from here, you could just check for the exploits, the versions of the versions of the services that are running. Is there any exploits that has been found on this particular service? Okay, and if you are just lucky, you might just hit gold. Okay, like we are lucky here and we just hit gold. All right, now this is very beginner friendly, like I keep saying. It's going to get a bit harder, of course, as we progress along the stages. As we keep going to other boxes, we are going to encounter different obstacles, and we now have to be creative in how we can be able to access the system. All right, so with that, I come to the end of this video. If you learned something out of this, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not so clear on certain things, just put it in the comment below and I'll be there to explain it for you. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, and keep hacking. All right, but always get permission. Very important. Okay. So thanks, guys.